First to say, this gives us a sense of the scale of the attack on our auto sector and our other sectors. But I will speak, Trina, since you went directly to auto, I'll speak directly to auto. And one other word of context, which is the North American automobile sector is the most integrated industrial manufacturing sector in the world, particularly the Canadian-US auto sector. And so President Trump's tariffs are an attempt in some degree to pull apart that integration and the benefits that come from that integration, benefits to the United States, benefits to Canada, benefits to Mexico. And we are seeing some of the impacts in the short term of that with layoffs for some of our automakers, potential shifts in production if this situation remains. Huge increase in costs, ultimately to American consumers, obviously the Canadian consumers. Our focus is on jobs and growth here in Canada. It's misguided, it's not going to work, and we're already seeing some of the changes to the approach. For example, the floating of the Americans, following the Canadian example, I would add, of exempting auto parts from the tariffs. They say temporarily, I think in the end that will be permanent, quite frankly. Now, have I spoken to? Yes, it's a short answer. I have had a number of conversations with the CEOs of automakers, not just the CEOs in Canada, but the global CEOs of the automakers, as have my colleagues, other ministers, including the Minister of Finance, but not limited to the Minister of Finance. Minister of Industry would be another example. So we are very seized with the issues, we're on top of the issues. It is one of the reasons, and we have done several things in terms of support, both in terms of financing support, liquidity support, the strategic fund that we announced 2 weeks ago in Windsor, the $2 billion fund to build out Canadian supply chain as part of the response. The core element, though, is going to be what is negotiated between Canada and the United States, between the Prime Minister of Canada and the President of the United States. When those negotiations begin in 2 weeks, then the core question is who's going to be at the table for Canada. I'm running hard so that I can be at the table for Canada to win for Canadian workers.
First of all, President Trump deserves nothing but condemnation for the unfair targeting of Canada. While he's lifting tariffs and backing down on tariffs all around the world, he continues to tariff our auto sector. There's nobody who's going to be able to control President Trump, as Mr. Carney is learning, despite his promises. What we should do is focus on what we can control, and that is to reverse the disastrous liberal economic policies that Mr. Carney advised Trudeau to take, that have driven up taxes, blocked our resources, wrapped our businesses in red tape, and driven $500 billion south. We need change.
This news coming out of Honda is deeply concerning. This is potentially going to impact thousands of jobs in Canada and have a devastating impact on the automobile sector for the long term. And so it really highlights how we need to really fight back and get these tariffs removed, make sure that we can strengthen our automobile sector. We know that many sectors are being impacted, not just the automobile sector. Here in Quebec, people are still feeling the impacts because of the steel and aluminum tariffs. So it really highlights how important it is for us to fight back and for us to take care of those workers.